The dining room is filled with the smell of expensive steak and the sound of my father-in-law, Arthur, laughing loudly. He is sitting at the head of the table, holding a glass of red wine like it is a royal scepter. My husband, Michael, is sitting next to him looking down at his plate. We are celebrating Arthur's latest business deal, but as usual, the conversation has turned into a way for him to pick on me. He looks across the table, his eyes shining with a mean kind of joy. "So Jamie," he says, using my name like it is a joke, "how is that little hobby of yours going? Are you still playing around with those computer codes in the spare room? Or have you finally decided to get a real job?" He laughs and Michael's siblings join in. I feel a familiar sting in my chest, but I keep my face very calm. I have been working 18 hours a day on my startup, but to Arthur, if you aren't wearing a suit and sitting in a skyscraper, you aren't successful. He thinks I am just a dreamer living off his son's hard work. Arthur doesn't stop there. He loves to have an audience, and tonight the whole family is watching. "I offered to get you a position in my firm as a junior assistant," he continues, shaking his head with fake pity. "But you said you wanted to build something from scratch. Well, the only thing you've built is a pile of debt, and a lot of worry for my Michael." Michael finally looks up, but he doesn't defend me. He just gives me a small apologetic shrug. It hurts more when he stays silent than when Arthur yells. I think back to all the nights I spent skipping sleep, drinking cold coffee, and staring at blue screens. I built a platform that is currently being used by 3 major hospitals, but Arthur doesn't want to hear about apps. He wants to talk about steel and real estate. I feel like a guest in my own life, being judged by a man who doesn't even know how to turn on a laptop. I take a sip of water and realize that everyone is looking at me, waiting for me to break. This pattern of mockery isn't new. For 5 years, Arthur has been making subtle digs about my career and my lack of ambition. He makes comments at every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, and every birthday. He suggests Michael should have married someone with a stronger background or a better pedigree. I used to brush it off as him being old-fashioned. I thought he was just insecure because the world was changing faster than he could keep up with. But as I sit here tonight watching him enjoy my discomfort, I realize it is more than that. It is deliberate. He wants me to feel small so that he can feel big. He wants Michael to think that I am a burden instead of a partner. He has been planning to push me out of the family circle for a long time. I look at the expensive watch on his wrist and think about the secrets I am holding. He has no idea that the little hobby he is mocking is about to change his world forever. Has he been planning something even bigger to get rid of me? Arthur stands up to make a toast. He talks about the strength of the bloodline, and how Michael is the only one who truly understands business. He makes a big show of ignoring me, never once mentioning my name or my presence at the table. He is the great Arthur, the man who built a kingdom from nothing, and he wants everyone to remember it. I watch him shine in the spotlight he created for himself. "To the future of this family," he bellows, raising his glass. "May we always be led by those who know the value of a hard day's work and a real paycheck." Michael catches my eye for a split second and gives me a look that says, "Just ignore him." But I am tired of ignoring it. I am tired of being the silent person at the table, while a man who doesn't understand the future tries to bury mine. My skin pricks with a mix of anger and focus. I decide right then and there that I am done playing the part of the struggling dreamer. I am going to give him exactly what he wants for a little while. After dinner, I excuse myself to go to the kitchen to help with the dishes. I need a moment of peace. But when I open the cabinet to put away the glasses, I find a folder that someone left on the counter. It belongs to Arthur. I shouldn't look, but my curiosity gets the better of me. I open it and freeze. It is a plan to merge Arthur's company with a massive tech conglomerate. But there is a huge problem. The tech company is only interested in the merger if Arthur can prove he owns a specific patent for a data sorting algorithm, the very algorithm I developed in my spare room last year. My heart starts to pound. Arthur has been trying to claim the patent through a legal loophole, acting like his company developed it while I was just helping out. He helped me with some initial funding 3 years ago, and he thinks that gives him total ownership of my brain. He has already told the buyers that the technology is his. Did he really try to steal my life's work while calling it a hobby? Just as I am staring at the papers, I hear footsteps. I quickly slide the folder back onto the counter and turn around. It is Michael. He looks at the folder and then at me, his face turning a pale shade of gray. He walks over and whispers, "Jamie, you weren't supposed to see that yet." My heart breaks a little more. My own husband knew about this. He knew his father was trying to take credit for my work and he didn't tell me. He clutches the counter and says, "Dad says it's for the good of the family. He says the merger will save the company from bankruptcy. He promised to take care of us if I just kept you quiet for a few more weeks." The words are like a physical blow to my chest. Michael actually believes that his father's theft is taking care of us. He is choosing his father's approval over my hard work. I pull my hand away from his and feel a cold wave of fury wash over me. I cannot let this be the way my story ends. I take a deep breath and push back the tears. I realize that if I start screaming at Michael or Arthur right now, I will only look like the unstable and emotional woman they want everyone to see. I can't win by being loud. I need to be smarter. I need to be the person who controls the narrative from the shadows. I stand up, wipe my hands on a towel, and give Michael a calm, empty smile. "I understand, Michael. Family comes first," I say, forcing the words out. I decide right then and there to step back and let them think they have won. I go back into the living room and sit quietly while Arthur smokes a cigar and tells more stories about his greatness. I act like the quiet, supportive wife in the background. But inside, everything has shifted. I am done being the victim of their greed. If they want to play a game with my technology, I will let them. I am going to give them enough rope to hang themselves in front of the whole world. As I sit there watching Arthur laugh, a sudden memory flashes through my mind. Last month, I noticed someone had been accessing my private server from an IP address inside Arthur's office building. I had started to feel like my ideas were being watched, so I set a trap. I created a small, discrete piece of code that logs every single entry and records the data being copied. I even set up a hidden kill switch that only I can activate. I hadn't even checked the logs yet because I had been so busy trying to please Michael's family. My heart starts racing as I realize what that server might have captured. Arthur and his team spent a lot of time researching my work. If they were the ones who stole the source code for the merger documents, that little piece of software saw everything. I looked toward Arthur, feeling a spark of hope. What if I actually caught him in the act of corporate espionage? I need to get to my laptop to see the truth once and for all. I wait for a moment when Arthur is busy bragging about his golf score to Michael's siblings. I slip away and head to the small library at the back of the house, locking the door behind me. My hands are shaking as I open my laptop and log into the encrypted server. I fast forward through the logs until I find the window of time when the code was copied. There it is. The IP address matches Arthur's private office. The camera on the server terminal even captured a clear image of Arthur's lead developer sitting at the desk, using Arthur's personal login credentials. He isn't just researching, he is taking the core architecture of my startup. I watch in horror as they copy the entire database and then attempt to delete the original files to make it look like they never existed. Finally, I hear the audio from the screen recording. It is Arthur's voice in the background. "Just take it all," he says. "She's just a girl in a spare room. She won't even know it's gone until we've signed the contracts." I continue watching the footage, unable to look away. Arthur is standing right there, laughing with his developer. "Once the merger is final, we'll be billionaires," Arthur says into the phone, his voice harsh and greedy. "Jamie will be lucky if I give her a job in the mailroom. She's been a weight around Michael's neck for too long. This technology is the only thing she's ever done right, and it belongs to me now because I paid for her dinner 3 years ago." My stomach drops and a wave of nausea hits me. This isn't just about a business deal. He is actively trying to destroy my life and my marriage by stealing my only asset. He wants to prove to Michael that I am a failure so he can control our lives forever. The level of malice in his voice makes my blood run cold. He isn't just a mean father-in-law. He is a criminal who thinks he is above the law. I sit there for a long minute, letting the truth sink in. I have everything I need now. I sit in the dark library for a long time, letting the reality of what I just saw settle in my mind. I have the proof. I have the video, the logs, and the audio of Arthur admitting to the theft. My first instinct is to run out there, throw the laptop on the table, and scream the truth in front of everyone. I want to see the smug look vanish from his face. But I stop myself. If I do that now, He will just call his expensive lawyers and bury me in paperwork. I need to be more strategic. I need to wait for the most public moment possible to reveal the truth so that there is no way for him to wiggle out of it. I close my laptop, take a few deep breaths to steady my heart, and head back to the party. I return to the living room and find Arthur showing Michael a photo of the new yacht he plans to buy with the merger money. I say nothing. I just stand there watching him. Not yet, I tell myself. Not yet. As I'm standing there trying to keep my face neutral, Arthur's oldest sister, Aunt Beatrice, walks over and pulls me slightly aside. Beatrice is a sharp woman who was once a high-level accountant, and she has always been the only one who treated me with respect. She leans in close, her eyes darting toward Arthur. I saw the paperwork on his desk last week, Jamie. She whispers, her voice low and serious. I saw your name crossed out and his company name typed over it. I know what he's doing. He thinks he's clever, but he's playing with fire. I feel a rush of relief so strong I almost fall over. I am not crazy, and I am not alone in seeing through his act. Having an ally like Beatrice is huge. She sees the look on my face and pats my arm gently. You're a brilliant woman, Jamie. Don't let him convince you otherwise, she says firmly. Others in the family are starting to notice that Arthur's success is built on lies, and I have a witness now. Despite the betrayal, the weekend continues, and Arthur isn't finished yet. He decides to host a large brunch the next morning for his business partners. He loudly offers to introduce Michael as the future of the firm, while making sure I am assigned to help the catering staff with the drinks. I watch from the side as he talks to the potential buyers from the tech conglomerate. A few minutes later, I hear him telling them that the creator of the algorithm is a troubled talent who had to be let go for security reasons. He is already poisoning my reputation before I can even start my next project. He is trying to make sure I never work in this industry again. I move quickly and intercept a tray of drinks he is about to take to the lead investor. I listen as he tells them the technology is all his vision. My heart jumps into my throat. He is still actively trying to ruin me. I walk back to the kitchen and realize I have to move my plan up. Instead of making a scene at brunch, I decide to take control, but I do it quietly. I go to the library and use my remote access to the server. I don't delete the code. Instead, I insert a tiny glitch into the algorithm. It is a piece of code that makes the entire system stall whenever someone tries to run a final valuation. It looks like a minor bug, but it is actually a lock that only I can open. I move through the house with a calm smile, acting like the perfect, helpful daughter-in-law. I start organizing the seating charts and helping the guests, moving through the crowd like I have no cares in the world. Gradually, the atmosphere of the brunch begins to shift. The investors, who were looking at Arthur with admiration, start to see him getting frustrated as his demonstration on his tablet keeps freezing. They see me handling things with grace while he starts to sweat. I see Arthur watching me from across the room. His smile is becoming tighter. He knows he's losing his cool. As the investors start asking difficult questions about the glitch, Arthur's perfect CEO mask starts to show some serious cracks. He is used to people just nodding and agreeing with him, and now that the buyers are looking worried, he is getting angry. A young analyst asks a technical question about the data structure, and instead of his usual smooth answer, Arthur snaps at him. It's proprietary. You wouldn't understand the complexity, he hisses, his face twisting into an ugly expression. The lead investor, a woman named Clara, looks very concerned. Arthur realizes his mistake and tries to laugh it off, but the damage is done. The visionary image he has been working so hard to maintain is flickering. People are starting to see the arrogance and the lack of knowledge underneath his expensive suit. I stay calm, offering Clara a fresh cup of coffee and a polite nod, which only makes Arthur look more out of touch. I can see him fuming. He is losing his cool because he doesn't actually understand the technology he stole. Arthur realizes he is losing the trust of the investors, so he decides to go for a Hail Mary move. He stands up in the middle of the dining room and claps his hands loudly. Everyone, attention please. He beams, his voice returning to that high performative pitch. Since we are all here to celebrate the future, I've decided to move the final signing to right now. We have the contracts, we have the witnesses, and we have the best technology in the world. I freeze, my heart skipping a beat. I know for an absolute fact that he hasn't solved the glitch I planted, and he certainly hasn't told them the truth. Michael looks at me with a panicked expression, asking silently what we should do. I just shake my head, feeling a cold knot of dread. Arthur is leading everyone toward the large display screen in the library, looking incredibly smug. He thinks this is going to be the thing that makes him a billionaire. I have no idea how he plans to hide the bug, but I know it won't work. Arthur leads the group to the large monitor. On the screen is the login for my platform, now rebranded with his company logo. We are going to run a live final valuation to show you exactly why this merger is worth every penny, he announces. It is a move designed to impress, but it is destined to fail. The system is still locked by the kill switch I planted. As the investors crowd around, he looks at me and says loudly, "If only we had more reliable staff, we would have done this hours ago. I'm doing my best with the tools I was given." He is setting the stage for one last public humiliation. He wants the system to stall so he can blame the poor coding of the former developer, me, in front of the buyers. He thinks he has trapped me in a situation where I'll look like the failure he always said I was. This is his final attempt to take everything from me, while looking like a victim of my incompetence. Instead of trying to stop him or jumping in to fix the system, I decide to step back completely. I walk over to the back of the room and stand next to Aunt Beatrice, crossing my arms. I let the disaster unfold exactly as Arthur designed it. I watch as he tries to run the valuation, but because the system is locked, it just shows a giant red error message on the screen. Arthur is running around, clicking buttons and sweating through his shirt, his voice getting higher and more panicked as he loses control. I don't lift a finger to help. I let everyone see that I am standing right here perfectly calm, while he is the one who is failing to manage his own vision. This time the truth is visible to everyone. It's clear to every investor in the room that he doesn't have the first clue how to fix the problem. Arthur is looking less like a titan of industry, and more like a fraud who is out of his league. The investors in the room are no longer looking at Arthur with respect. Instead, I hear the murmurs starting up, and they aren't kind. How can he not know how to bypass a simple error if he developed the system? Clara asks, looking at the frozen screen. This technology seems unstable. And so does he, another investor whispers back. I see Michael standing by the window watching his father struggle. He looks at me, then back at Arthur, and I can see the shame on his face. He's finally seeing the man behind the curtain. Arthur looks completely unsettled now. He's trying to blame the internet connection, but it sounds like a lie. He realizes that his big moment has backfired, and that he is losing the billion-dollar deal. He looks toward me, his eyes filled with a desperate, burning anger, but I just give him a small, polite nod. He's trapped in the lie he built, and he knows I hold the key. The tension is at its peak, and it's time for the moment I've been waiting for. Arthur is screaming at his developer on the phone, and the investors are starting to walk toward the door. I stand up and walk over to the main computer terminal, my phone in my hand. Arthur freezes when he sees me approaching the screen. He knows that I am the only one who can actually fix the error, but the look on my face tells him I'm not there to help him. I don't say a word to him. I just look him straight in the eyes as I connect my phone to the display system. He takes a step forward, his mouth opening as if to order me away, but Clara stops him. "Let her speak," she says firmly. Arthur looks terrified, and he should be. He realizes that I've been holding on to the real news all afternoon. He knows that the game is over. Everyone is watching the screen now, waiting for me to speak. I press a button on my phone. The screen doesn't show the error message anymore. Instead, it shows a live video feed from a major news network. The reporter is standing in front of the National Science Foundation. "We have breaking news," she says. "The prestigious Global Innovation Award has just been announced, and for the first time in history, it goes to a solo developer working independently. Jamie Miller has won for her groundbreaking data sorting algorithm." The library goes into a state of total shocked silence. Every guest watches as the reporter explains that the patent was officially verified and registered to me personally just 3 hours ago. Then the audio from my server logs begins to play over the speakers. Arthur's voice rings out across the room. "Just take it all. She's just a girl in a spare room." The silence that follows is heavy and suffocating. Arthur is standing like a statue, his face drained of all color. There is nowhere left for him to hide. The truth is now a global headline. The video ends and for a few seconds no one moves. Then, the silence is broken by a low murmur of disgust from the investors. Arthur stumbles over his words, trying to offer excuses. It was a misunderstanding. I was protecting the assets. He stammers, but his voice is weak and pathetic. Clara looks at him with pure disdain. You tried to steal an award-winning innovation from your own daughter-in-law? She asks. We are not only canceling the merger, Arthur. We are reporting this to the ethics board. I look over at Michael. His face is a mask of cold fury. He is seeing his father clearly for the first time in his life. He isn't confused anymore. He looks at the error on the screen, then at the news report, and finally at the man who tried to destroy us both. He walks toward Arthur, his footsteps heavy on the hardwood floor. Arthur looks like he wants to run, but the room is full of witnesses. He has lost everything. Michael stops a few feet in front of Arthur. He doesn't yell. His voice is quiet but filled with a deep, cutting disappointment. I've spent my whole life trying to be like you, Michael says, his voice shaking. I thought you were a leader. But you're just a thief, Dad. You tried to ruin Jamie to save your own ego. You tried to make me an accomplice in stealing her future. Arthur breaks down, trying to reach for Michael's arm, but Michael steps back. You don't get to call yourself a businessman anymore. You're a fraud. And you're not welcome in our lives. Arthur looks around, realizing that not a single person in the room is going to stand up for him. Even his siblings are looking away in shame. He is humiliated not by a revenge plot I created, but by the simple, undeniable truth of his own actions. He grabs his coat and flees through the side door, leaving the house in a cloud of disgrace. The great Arthur is gone. As the door clicks shut behind Arthur, the tension in the room finally begins to break. I feel a strange sense of calm. It's over. I walk over to the computer and with one click I unlock the system. The valuation runs perfectly now, showing numbers that are even higher than Arthur imagined. But the money won't be going to him. Clara walks over to me and shakes my hand. We still want the technology, Jamie. But we want to deal with you directly. No middlemen. No, great Arthur. I smile, a real bright smile this time. Michael walks over and pulls me into a hug, his face buried in my shoulder. I'm so sorry, Jamie. I'll never doubt you again, he whispers. The guests gather around and congratulate me, their voices filled with genuine respect. The hobby isn't a joke anymore. In fact, it's become the foundation of a new life. We open a bottle of champagne, and this time the toast is for the person who actually did the work. Later that evening, the last of the guests finally leave. They all gave me their cards and told me how much they admire my integrity. Aunt Beatrice stayed until the end to help me pack my laptop, giving me a proud wink as she left. Arthur's company is already being investigated, and his name is being stripped from the merger documents. He won't be showing his face in the tech world ever again. Michael and I sit on the porch together in a comfortable, peaceful silence. He stops for a moment, takes my hand and squeezes it tight. I'm so proud of you, he says softly. I just nod, knowing that we're okay now. We look out at the horizon, realizing that for the first time our future is actually our own. I didn't need to scream or get messy. I didn't need a complicated revenge plan. I just needed to let the truth speak for itself. The truth spoke. And for the first time the whole world finally listened. The news everyone was waiting for was finally out.